until all our daughters are safe, until all our children have families, until all our families have homes, until all our parents are cared for. We'll be here.
All right, opening statements.
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
Your Honor, this is a case about one woman who murdered two innocent civilians, stripping them of their rights to life, liberty, and pursuit to happiness. On July 23, 2018, a shootout occurred between the military righteous ones and the police department who were actively working to protect the citizens of Riverdale. Today, Sean Evans is not the victim, but an attacker, a catalyst, and an instigator who started a riot on July 23rd that killed Gordon Liu, a father, Aaliyah Chadwick, a young woman just 21 years of age, and seriously injured Officer Reyes, a civilian protecting his community. Under the Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11, felonious assault is defined as, quote, causing serious physical harm to another or another's born. Your Honor, Sean Evans will clearly admit in cross-examination today to firing at Officer Reyes, causing injury to her. Moreover, in direct examination, Officer Reyes will clearly state that Sean Evans looked at her directly, asking if she was an officer, then proceeded to firing her weapon. According to Section D of 2903.11 of the Ohio Revised Code, quote, if a peace officer is assaulted, felonious assault is a felony of the first degree, end quote. Officer Reyes is a peace officer, and both Officer Reyes and Sean Evans will clearly agree that Sean was consciously aware of Officer Reyes' position as a police officer before proceeding to fire her weapon on the night in question. Therefore, Sean Evans can clearly be convicted with first-degree felonious assault. Furthermore, to continue on that point, under the Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02, murder is defined as, quote, causing the death of another to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, end quote. We will clearly establish today in court, as previously stated, that Sean Evans committed a felony of the first degree. Both sides, prosecution and the defense, will admit Ms. Evans willingly shot a police officer. Therefore, having committed a felony of the first degree, Ms. Evans has effectively met the qualification to be convicted with murder. Regardless of whether Ms. Evans shot Aaliyah Chadwick and Gordon Liu or not, Ms. Evans admitted in court today for shooting an officer will provide full proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Ms. Evans committed murder. Under the Ohio Revised Code, murder is defined as a felony of the first degree. I respectfully request that Sean Evans be convicted with felonious assault according to Section 2903.11 and murder according to Section 2903.02. Our evidence will prove these charges to be true beyond a reasonable doubt. Give Aaliyah Chadwick and Gordon Liu and their families the justice and consolation they deserve. Let the court not set a criminal free, but rather give justice to the victims. Thank you.
Thank you. For the defendant.
Yes, Your Honor. It doesn't matter if I go to this, putting more of this. May it please the court. Today, the prosecution has the role of proving that the defendant, Sean Evans, is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And quite frankly, this case is not only filled with doubt, but bias as well. Today, we will see the story of a war veteran, someone who came back to help their community when it was in poverty and overstricken with crime and excessive police surveillance. The Righteous Ones were formed a couple years ago to be a neighborhood watch, something to put the community mind at ease, something that the police were supposed to do. Since the police have been in Riverdale, the civilians are eerie. They're afraid of the police when that is the exact opposite of the goal. Today, we will show you that Sean Evans never wanted any of this to happen, and she for sure did not kill anyone. That is against everything that she wanted for her community. Today, we will show you that it could have been anyone who shot it could have been anyone who shot the two civilians and anyone who shot Chris Reyes. But because the police had a vendetta against Sean Evans, they pinned it on her. Today, they will try to say that Sean Evans is anti-police, and although it may be true, there is good reason behind it. Today, we will show that there is bias against Sean Evans, and that they want to bring him down because he is uplifting the community. Today, we will have expert testimony showing that there could have been anyone who shot the two that were murdered, and there could have also been anyone who shot Chris Reyes. I would also like to ask that you come to a conclusion of not guilty for the defendant.
All right, thank you. Madam Prosecutor, I'll call you first,
Your Honor,
please.
I'd like to call Chris Reyes to the stand now.
Please be seated. Make sure you speak into the mic. You can't. I don't think the chair moves, but you can adjust the microphone if there is one.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that it will comply with the will and mock trial competition?
I do.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Please state your name and occupation for the court.
My name is Chris Reyes, and I am a police officer for the city of Erie.
How long have you been on the force?
I've been on the force for about 21 years.
What are you assigned to now?
Traffic duty on the east side.
And what got you into being in the police force?
Well, my dad was a cop and my mom was a prosecutor, so you could say that law enforcement runs in my blood.
Your Honor, I'd like to tender Officer Chris Reyes as an expert according to Rule 402 with her specialized knowledge, training, and skills in the law enforcement area.
Your objection. Right.
May I proceed?
Yes, you can.
So what happened on July 23rd, 2018?
Well, that day started off as a slow day. Shortly after noon, I called the headquarters to see if I had an assignment for me. And the traffic coordinator told me that there was an abandoned auto by residences in the Riverdale area.
Your Honor, I'd like to present what was previously marked as Exhibit 1C, but the record of black item presenting a clean, unmarked copy to opposing counsel. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Please hold this.
Thank you.
Can you describe for the court what this is?
This is the map of the shootout, close up.
So, what car is in this map and where is it parked?
This was a 2015 Cadillac, and it was parked on Chestnut Avenue on the north side of the street.
So, what does the rectangle on that map represent?
This shows where the Cadillac was parked.
And what did you do?
So I did my routine auto check and tow, my job, and I ticketed the car, and then I called the tow truck company to tell them to go take it to the police impound lot.
So what happened next?
After that, I finished all my rounds for the night, and then I went off duty, went to go get some dinner, like a normal person would, and then I went back on duty after I was done.
So what did you do after you were at the tavern?
So after the tavern, I circled back around to the auto and to see if the tow truck was there.
What was your state of consciousness coming out of this tavern?
I wasn't drunk at all. I had one single beer, and I know my limit. I know that I am responsible for my life and many other people's lives in the city of Erie, and that I would not be so immature and irresponsible to even exceed or even meet the limit of. So I only had one beer.
So when did the tow truck come?
The tow truck came around dusk.
And what did you notice about the driver?
Even though the driver was in a police officer uniform, he was unarmed and a civilian.
So what happened next?
After that, the civilian, pulled up to the car, got out the car, and then shots were fired.
And what, did you get shot?
Yes, I did. In fact, I was shot in my back, and then I was still able to move around slowly and see who was shooting towards me, and it was a person with a rifle shooting across from the truck, 2 houses west of the truck.
What were your next steps?
So after this, I had to get out the line of fire, so I radioed for some help, and the shooting had stopped suddenly. And so I was like, oh, I need to get out of the line of fire, so I started to drag myself up the street, and I started to shoot in the direction of where the shots were coming from.
Did you have your gun with you the whole entire time?
No, I did not. My gun must have dropped in all the chaos and all the pain I was in. When we circled back around, the gun wasn't there. Someone must have picked it up.
Who didn't you see get shot?
I didn't see Righteous One member Aaliyah Chadwick get shot.
Okay. And in your expert opinion, how do you feel about this night?
This night, so far in my 21 years, it was the worst. And you know, as a traffic duty officer, you see some action, but not as much as you've seen tonight. I didn't think that I would get shot for doing a routine auto check and tow.
And in your expert opinion again, what law enforcement conclusion can you make about Sean Evans?
Hey, they're just a bunch of delinquents who don't care about following the laws. They want to break it all the time, and that, you know, they say they're going to fix up the community, but all they do is talk. They make it more dangerous with their guns and their dangerous acts of violence. And, you know, this attack was pre-calculated by Sean Evans from all his brainwashing of his young subjects for all of these years.
And can you now tell us your expert opinion about Sean Evans on the night in question?
I do believe that Sean Evans did shoot the other victims and even though he didn't pull the trigger himself, he was entirely complicit with all of it and encouraged it all. And he attacked us.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may cross-examine.
So, Ms. Rose, you said you've been on the force for 20 plus years, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you also have a family history of being in the force, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
So, in your expert opinion, you would know what's acceptable and what's unacceptable on the job, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you think, in your expert opinion, that drinking on the job is acceptable?
I wasn't on the job. I went off duty, and I was done with my rounds for the night already.
Yet you still went back onto the clock, is that correct?
Yes, just to take the routine auto. I didn't think that anyone would get shot.
So you said that you were shot that day, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, in the back.
And is it possible that the combination of you being intoxicated and you being shot, you could have confused who was shooting you?
Objection, Your Honor. This is speculation.
Restate the question. Let me hear the question again.
Okay. Is there a possibility that the mixture of you being both intoxicated and being shot and wounded in the state of shock, is there a possibility that you may have confused who was shooting at you?
I'll allow the question. Answer.
I was not intoxicated. I had one single beer, and as I stated before, I know my limit. I didn't even get close to my limit.
But is it not possible?
It's possible, but very unlikely.
Okay. You said that you were told that Sean Evans shot you. Is that correct?
Yes, after I was taken to the hospital.
So you're here testifying against the defendant based off of word of mouth. Is that correct?
Well, yes, but it makes very much sense that Sean Evans did shoot me.
No further questions? All right, thank you.
May I proceed?
May you ready?
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Can you please describe for the court your state of consciousness coming out of the tavern?
As I stated before, I was not drunk at all. I know my responsibility, and I am a police officer of 21 years. I would know from right and wrong, you know, that I should not even get close to my limit of being drunk or even exceed that limit. And I know I am responsible for people's lives, and I would not put other lives or myself in danger.
So in your cross-examination, you spoke of Sean Evans. Give us your expert opinion about Sean Evans.
Well, they're a nationalist. Well, his group, the Righteous Ones, are very nationalist, and it's known that he buys guns and he has a mistrust for the police. So me being me, he came up to me as I was dragging myself down the street and asked if I was one of the SOBs stealing cars, and I said I was a police officer, and the person aimed at me and shot me.
And you were sure this person is Sean Evans?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Based on that, any recross?
Yes, Your Honor. So do you know Sean Evans personally?
No, I do not.
So you gave an expert opinion on someone who you don't know personally, is that correct?
But there are facts and evidence against him.
But you don't know him personally, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you said you had a drink that night, is correct?
Yes.
One drink, but you still had one, is that correct?
Yes.
And you also got shot that night, is that correct?
That is correct.
So there's no possibility at all the combination of you being both shot and having one drink could have caused your judgment?
I would say that there's a slight possibility, but very unlikely.
Okay, and just for reiteration, you were told that it was Sean Evans who shot you, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
May we call Corey Rogers into
All right. Gentlemen, this witness, nothing.
No further questions.
Thank you. You may return to your seat after the prosecution take.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Corey Rogers to the stand now.
Please take a seat.
Please you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that it will comply with the mock trial competition?
Yes.
You may proceed.
Please state your name and profession for the court.
My name is Corey Rogers, and I work for the Erieland Division of the Counterintelligence section of the FBI.
And what do you do at your job?
We circulate information and gather information and intelligence about nationalist and hate groups in Erieland.
So what are some of your assignments?
We are assigned to circulate and gather the intelligence and cooperate with local police to identify these nationalist and hate groups.
And where did you get your education?
I earned my dual bachelor's degree in national security and intelligence studies from Point Park University.
And Agent Rogers, what was your first job after graduation?
My first job was working for the Chicago division of the Drug Enforcement Agency, known as the DEA, where we gathered and circulated drug-related information.
And how long have you been in this line of work?
18 years.
Where did you transfer to after working with the DEA?
After working for the DEA, I began tracking the Nation of Islam in Kentucky, and before that, I tracked American Guard in Chicago. And then after that, I moved here to Erieland to track nationalist and hate groups.
Your Honor, I'd like to tender this witness as an expert in FBI criminology specializing in nationalist hate groups.
No objection?
No, Your Honor.
May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
So what are your core values as an FBI agent?
My core values are to defend the country, protect our economy, and uphold infrastructure in the city of Erieland.
Just for the record, we do find you qualified to be in the position you hold. Okay. You may
Okay.
continue.
And what information have you established during your work in Erieland?
We have identified multiple different nationalist and hate groups. One of these is the Righteous Ones.
So let's talk more about the Righteous Ones. Can you explain who they are?
The Righteous Ones is a nationalist group, and it's made from mostly young people ranging from 16 to 30, and their leader, Sean Evans, is 34. They're a nationalist group, and they identify themselves as soldiers.
And what goals do the Righteous Ones hold?
They don't really have any strict goals or anything like that. They mostly gather at 21321 Chestnut Avenue, where they drink, smoke marijuana, play cards, and talk very badly about the police.
So what do the Righteous Ones members have in common?
All of the members, or at least most of them, have committed crimes. They've committed petty theft, drug dealing, and some of them have even committed felonies such as grand theft of a motor vehicle and breaking and entering.
And what do you recall about the Righteous Ones in June of 2018?
I recall them carrying crates that are possibly identified as rifles, ammunition, and dangerous weapons into Sean Evans' home.
Your Honor, I'd like to present what was previously marked as Exhibit 3. Let the record reflect I am presenting a clean and unmarked copy to opposing counsel. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may. Let me see your document.
Exhibit 3.
All right.
Please hold this. Please explain to the court what this image is.
So this is an image, and it shows here there are 2 rifles, a magazine, a flashlight, 5 bullets, and a dagger.
So what else did you witness in July of 2018 now?
I saw the vehicles delivering crates to Sean Evans' house.
And in your expert opinion, having done much research on this group, what did you believe to be in those crates?
Well, we identified these vehicles and we found out that they had ties to an arms dealing organization in Pennsylvania. So we are fairly confident that these crates held dangerous weapons.
So let's move on to talk about the night in question, July 23rd. What happened July 23rd?
There was a shootout between the police and the righteous ones.
So what did you believe about the possibility Officer Reyes was incapacitated on that night?
I believe that this idea was completely ludicrous. There's no chance that any officer would be intoxicated, and I think this is a total insult to the profession and the badge itself.
And in your expert opinion, have the righteous ones focused on violence?
Yes, the righteous ones are very undisciplined and have spent a lot of their time focused on violence.
And in conclusion, what is your expert opinion regarding the righteous one's involvement with the shootout using Exhibit 3?
Well, according to Exhibit 3, there are these weapons here, and in my expert opinion and my years of research on the righteous ones, they can be shown to be in a very violent and dangerous group. So I have full confidence that this shootout was premeditated by the righteous ones.
No further questions, Your Honor. May I approach the witness to retrieve the document?
You can. Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Rogers, you said that the righteous one had no goals. Is that correct?
Yes, they didn't really have any very
Okay, are you
strict
a member
goals.
of the righteous ones?
No.
Yet you speak as if you know them. Is that correct?
Well, I know the group very well because I have been in this
If you
profession
knew
for
the
18
righteous
years,
ones,
and I.
Can the opposing counsel please let my witness finish her statement?
I want that witness
All right.
answer yes or no. If she did.
We're going to ask the question again.
Do you know if the righteous ones are violent or not? Like, are you a member? Do you know?
Well, I'm not a member, but based on my many years of research, I can
That's
identify
a
the
no.
righteous ones.
That was a no. You're not a member?
I'm not a member, no.
You were working for the DEA and Nation of Islam and tracking down big groups like that. Is that correct?
Yes, I did track those groups.
And now you've gone to tracking down the righteous ones, which is merely a neighborhood watch. Is that correct?
Yes, well, it's not merely a neighborhood
you
watch. We've
spied on the
identified them as
Hold
a
it, hold
nationalist
it.
group.
The question was,
You went from tracking down big groups to tracking down the neighborhood watch. Is that correct?
No, the righteous ones is not simply a neighborhood watch. They are a nationalist group.
So you didn't spy on the righteous ones?
Can you restate the question?
You didn't spy on the righteous ones?
We did not spy on them. We did research and gathered intelligence.
Okay, so you said that the righteous ones were henchmen and that they lacked morals. Is that correct?
Yes, they spend a lot of their time doing criminal activity.
And Officer Chris Rise is your friend. Is that correct?
Yes, we work for the police force.
So you must have been really hurt when you found out your friend was shot by a righteous ones member. Is that correct?
Yes, I was.
So is it possible that you're here on behalf of your friend on a biased opinion?
No, I am here because I'm an expert in nationalist groups, and the righteous ones are the nationalist group.
Yet you're close friends with Chris Rise. Is that correct?
Yes, I was.
And you went on and on a tangent about how you dislike the righteous ones and how they disrespected people with the badge, people like yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, they did.
So, just for reiteration, you're not biased?
No, I don't believe so. I've done extensive research on nationalist groups, and I know what I'm talking about
No
as an
further
expert.
questions, Your Honor.
May I proceed?
yes.
So, Agent Rogers, can you please explain to us the righteous ones and their involvement in violence?
Well, most of the righteous ones have a criminal history. They smoke marijuana, and they've committed petty theft and felonies, like I said before, like a grand theft of a motor vehicle and breaking and entering.
So, what did your research show you, and why did you research in the first place?
Well, we researched them because we identified them as a nationalist group in the city of Erie, and we found that they were very violent, loosely structured, and were a threat to the police.
What dangers do they pose to the community?
Well, since they smoke marijuana, they drink, play cards, they just do very dangerous acts. They can get young people involved, and they are also a threat to the police.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect, recross.
Yes, Your Honor. So, once again, are you a member of the righteous ones?
No, I'm not.
And have you seen the righteous ones be violent with your own eyes?
Not with my own eyes, but based on
So you're
my
testifying based off, once again, word of mouth. Is that correct?
no, not based on word of mouth. It's based on years and years of research and gathering intelligence about the group.
But once again, you've never seen it yourself. Is that correct?
Well, I have not seen it with my own eyes. No, I have not been
No
there
further
but
questions, Your
physically,
Honor.
but I have done research
All right.
extensively on this group.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Lady Stephanie.
Your Honor, at this moment, we would like to call Amari Washington to the stand.
Right.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth, and that your testimony will comply with the Cleveland mock trial competition.
Yes.
Ms. Washington, when you speak, make sure the jury can hear you, and you can move. Is there a microphone there?
Yes.
You can adjust the microphone even if the chair does not move.
Proceed.
You may proceed.
Please state your name and age for the court.
My name is Amari Washington, and I'm an 18-year-old student at Riverdale High School.
Please explain to the court what is important to you.
What I find important to me is organizations to help upbring the community that I live in.
And what is one of the organizations you're involved in?
2 years ago, I joined the Righteous Ones.
Who is the Righteous Ones?
The Righteous Ones was an organization in my community that sought to reform social justice between the community and the police, but they sought to do this through the act of violence.
And what led you to believe that this group preferred a militant approach?
Well, their leader, Sean Evans, used a Malcolm X quote to drive the attitude of the group.
What did Mr. Evans believe?
He believed that violence should be met with violence.
And what else led you to perceive the Righteous Ones as a dangerous and violent group?
Sean Evans was in possession of many different types of guns, which only proved to me that violence is the answer for him.
How is your vision for the community different from Sean Evans?
Well, like I said, Sean Evans believes in Malcolm X's views, while I am more of a MLK and peaceful resistance kind of person.
So let's talk about July 23rd, 2018. What happened that morning?
Around that morning, Sean Evans sent our group chat to meet up at his house, and about 40 of us responded.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce what has been previously marked as Exhibit 1, see the map of the shootout. Let the record reflect actual also Cleveland on that copy.
You may present.
My question with
Yes, you may.
What does that exhibit show?
This exhibit is the area of Chestnut Road and Lakefront Road.
And what does the star labeled 21321 Chestnut represent?
The home base of Righteous Ones, also known as Sean Evans' home.
What occurred next on July 23rd, 2018 when the Righteous One met up with Sean Evans?
Sean Evans began preparing a few of us for a shootout between the police and the Righteous Ones.
And how did you prepare?
He began by allowing us to practice how to load and unload guns.
At this moment, I would like to present what has been previously marked as Exhibit 3, the photo of rifles registered to Sean Evans. May I question?
You may.
Can you please explain to the court what image you have in your hand?
So this picture is one that I took when we were practicing loading and unloading the guns. And since I've never seen guns before, I thought it would be, kind of cool to take a picture, but I didn't know that it would be used in this way.
Now at 8 p.m. at night, can you please explain for the court what took place in Mr. Evans' house?
So around 8 p.m., Sean and a few of our other brothers and sisters ventured outside to confront the police. But around 15 minutes later, shots fired, and I don't know at all who started it.
And how did you escape this situation?
I ran the opposite direction out the back door, and I did not turn back. I just kept running until I got home.
What did you do next?
Well, since that, traumatic event, I decided to lay low and try to seclude myself from what happened that night.
What caused you to finally come clean with what you saw on the night in question?
Well, one of my fellow sisters, Aaliyah Chadwick, got shot and she passed away due to her injuries. And I felt as if it was my right to, step up and bring justice to her death and place Sean Evans in his correct place.
And why are you here to testify today?
Like I said, Sean Evans is a man of violence, and I believe he should be held accountable for his actions.
How do you feel about Sean Evans?
I feel that, since my 2 years of working with him and him being my leader, I know what kind of person he is, and I know what he's capable of. And I believe that he was the one that started the fight and was the one that caused these murders.
No further questions, Your Honor. Permission to retrieve the exhibit?
You may. Cross.
So, Ms. Washington, you've been on the Righteous Ones for 2 years, a member of the Righteous Ones for 2 years, is that correct?
Yes.
And over the time, you've learned what Sean does and how he's a fan of meeting violence with violence if need be, is that correct?
Yes.
Yet you never left the Righteous Ones, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the day of the shooting, you said Sean said there would be a shootout with the police. Do you have any proof of that?
Sean texted us, and the way he was a man to meet violence with violence.
But do you have any proof of that?
Proof of what exactly?
Of him saying that there would be a shootout with the police that day.
Well, he prepared us with loading and unloading guns. And
but do you have any proof of him saying that?
Of him directly saying it? By my knowledge, yes.
Can you tell me the proof? I'm not aware that you have that.
He told us that we should be preparing of a shootout between us and the police.
But I'm sorry, I don't know if you're not understanding my question. I'm saying, do you have proof of him saying that?
Like?
Your Honor, my witness has asked and my witness has answered this question.
She has not answered the question. She has she said.
She said yes. She has proof.
She hasn't
Now,
presented any proof.
she has. Okay. The objection would be sustained only to the. And we'll actually just rephrase the question. You asked the question, does she have proof? She said yes. Okay. Now, do you have another question based on?
Yes.
Okay.
What proof is it that you have? Because I'm not aware of any of it in your testimony.
Well, based on the knowledge that I have between the group and being in the 2 years I spent with the Righteous Ones, I believe that this is what Sean was preparing us for.
So you have it. Okay, so you took a picture, although you're anti-violence, you took a picture of Sean's gun, is that correct?
Yes.
Can I approach the witness would previously enter Exhibit 3?
You may.
So, Ms. Washington, you took a picture of these guns, is that correct?
Yes.
And you took this picture because it looked gangster, is that correct?
Well, I've never seen guns or anything of these type of guns before, and so I thought it would just be okay to take a quick picture.
So, once again, you took it because it looked gangster. Those were your exact words, so.
Well, I mean, if it seemed to be gangster, I don't think so. But, I mean, it was a picture that I decided to take.
You don't think so now, but at the moment you thought so?
Yes.
And did this change of heart come months later?
Can you elaborate on that question? What does that mean?
Well, your testimony wasn't given until months later when you were faced with a completely separate set of charges. Is that correct?
What are you asking me?
You did not testify. You did not give your witness statement until you were faced with a different set of charges months later.
Yes.
Is that correct? So, is it possible that you're not here to get justice for your sister Leah Cowell or George Liu? You're here to clear your name.
No, I feel Sean Evans should be held accountable for his actions, even if, he was caught up in the crossfires, and he might be the one that have gotten Aaliyah shot.
So, this puts you in a good light, right? Because that's what you said.
What are you asking me?
Testifying here today puts you in a good light?
No, I'm trying to bring awareness towards Aaliyah's death and put Sean Evans away for what he did.
Permission to approach the witness. Permission to approach the witness with her statement.
You may.
Can I see the
Mm-hmm. Ms. Fairlad when she says that it puts her in a good light today. She says it's got to bring me good light. So can you read? I'm sorry. Can you read from? It's got to right.
It's got to put me in a good light, right? Question mark.
So you did say that testifying here today puts you in a good light. Is that correct?
That would be one of the options, yes.
So once again, I'm going to ask: are you here to testify and get justice for Allie, or are you here to clear your own name?
Well, both, because it also puts me in a good light, but I also want to bring awareness towards Aaliyah's death.
No further questions, Your Honor. Permission to.
Retrieve the document? Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
You may.
What type of organization is the Righteous Ones?
They're one that believe to promote social justice, but do it through acts of violence.
And why did you stay with them for 2 years before leaving?
Well, I thought they were there to promote social justice, which was something that I found interesting.
And how did you know a shootout would occur on July 23rd?
Well, Sean prepared us by unloading and loading guns, which is something I've never done before. I've never even seen a gun.
Your Honor, I would like to bring up Exhibit 3, which was previously brought up in cross-examination.
You may.
May I approach the witness, please? Why did you take a picture of the guns in that photo?
Well, like I've said, I've never seen guns before, and I thought it'd be okay to at least take pictures of what I saw.
Going back to the charges as brought up in cross-examination, what were you charged with in the past?
I was charged with arson and first-degree murder.
Was there any evidence available to indict you?
No.
Okay. And what do you want most for the community?
I want the community to recover from this heinous act and to promote social justice again, but not through acts of violence.
And why are you testifying here in court today, Ms. Amari?
Well, even though clearing my name may help, I would also like to bring awareness towards Aaliyah Chadwick's death and put Sean Evans away.
No further questions, Your Honor. Permission to retrieve the exhibit?
You may. Recross?
So, Ms. Washington, you're 18, right?
Yes.
And arson and first-degree murder, these are pretty serious charges, right?
Yes.
Charges that could make or break your whole entire future, is that correct?
Yes.
So, you would do anything to get out of those charges, is that correct?
I wouldn't do anything, but since I'm not guilty, I don't feel as if I should do anything.
And arson, is it true that on the day when you ran home, the house caught on fire? Sean's house caught on fire?
Objection, Your Honor. Out of scope of redirect.
You brought up her charges of arson.
I never brought up running home on the day of the incident. Never talked about that.
We'll sustain the objection.
Okay, so just for reiteration, you've been on the Righteous Ones for 2 years, an active member, right?
Yes.
You said the Righteous One gave you a sense of purpose. You had something to do for your community, is that correct?
Yes.
And now you're saying that the Righteous Ones were very violent and all these other things, is that correct?
Yes.
Yet you stayed with them for 2 years and been an active member for 2 years, is that correct?
But throughout that time, I really believed that they were trying to promote social justice. But nearing the end of my time with them, I realized it was more through violence.
So just for reiteration, you said that being here today puts you in a good light, right?
It might put me in a good light, but it should also bring awareness toward Aaliyah and Sean.
So you're here for yourself and Aaliyah?
I'm not here for a publicity stunt. I'm here to bring awareness towards Aaliyah's death and Sean Evans' acts that he committed.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, at this moment, the prosecution rests.
You may step down. Thank you. Testimony.
I surrender, I surrender.
All right.
pal.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
Sunshine through today with seasonal temperatures. We should reach our normal high of about 82 degrees by this afternoon. Clear skies tonight with a low near 70.
Any motions from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call Sean Evans to the stand.
Any motions at all? No motions?
okay.
No Rule 29 motions? All right. Is it the defense's plan to put on the case?
Yes.
All right. Call your first witness.
We would like to call Sean Evans.
You may proceed.
So, can you introduce yourself to the court, please?
I'm Sean Evans. I'm an Iraq war veteran and the de facto leader of the Righteous Ones.
Okay, and during your time with the Righteous One, what is it that you all do?
We try to protect and serve our community by bringing in money and to end the things like violence, crime, unemployment, and things of that nature to better our community.
Okay, and problems with your community, can you tell me a little bit more about them?
My community?
Mm-hmm.
My community is filled with unemployment, hopelessness, crime, fear, violence, and lots of mistrust in the police.
Mistrust in the police, can you go on and tell me about that?
The police don't exactly do what they're supposed to do in our community. They don't serve as they should. They leave us for our own.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell me what happened the day of July 23rd?
July 23rd started as a normal day. Me and the Righteous Ones were in the house talking about politics, news, rapping, things of that nature. A little while later, I felt a little crazed, so I began to walk to the Lakefront Tavern with my rifle, and I began to hear shots, so I hurried back to the house, and I seen a police officer and a fellow Righteous member, Aaliyah Chadwick, dead on the ground. So I began to take cover and fire shots back.
Okay, and after you fire shots back, can you tell me what happened next?
After firing, I noticed that I didn't have a clear shot, so I moved to a different location to better my shot.
And Ms. Evans, can you tell me why you're here today?
I'm here to prove that I am not guilty of the charges that are held against me.
Okay, and just for reiteration, can you tell me the main goal of the Righteous Ones, the group that they're pitting out to be the bad guys?
Our main goal is to protect and serve our community and better what's around us.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed? Isn't it true that you are the de facto leader of the Righteous Ones?
That is true.
And you opened a bookstore with the intention of introducing your African history and culture to the community, correct?
That is true.
However, this establishment was shut down 3 times for sanitary violations, correct?
That is true.
You would also agree, though, that there have been shipments and imports being delivered to your store, correct?
That is true.
And a few days before the gunfire, boxes and imports were delivered to your house, yes?
Yes.
And you can also agree that the police believed your crates and shipments were filled with guns and weapons, correct?
That is correct.
And this is because you and your group have been known to purchase dangerous and lethal weapons, correct?
Yes, but only to protect ourselves.
Isn't it true that your group has been called a militant group?
That is true.
Your Honor, at this moment, I would like to present what has been previously marked as Exhibit 3.
You may.
Isn't that exhibit the picture of the lethal weapons you own?
Yes.
However, you state that you bought these weapons for the sole purpose of self-defense, correct?
Yes.
Self-defense against the police, yes?
Yes.
You would agree, however, that you resent and hold distrust for the police, yes?
Yes.
The slow violence of neglect and bigotry for the police makes you so angry and upset that you want to explode, am I correct?
No.
You stated in your own witness statement.
Wait, could you restate the question?
The slow violence of neglect and bigotry from the police makes you so angry and upset you want to explode, yes?
Yes.
And you are not afraid to be violent towards the police if needed to get your point across.
That is true.
And isn't it true that the police are always watching you?
Yes.
And this is because they feel a reason to suspect you for doing illegal actions, correct?
That is true.
Let's talk about the night in question, July 23rd. You claim the police were watching you in your house from unmarked cars, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to present what has been previously marked as Exhibit 1C. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Looking at that map, your house is at 21321 Chestnut Avenue, am I correct?
Yes.
And you decided to leave your house and head to the tavern, the circle on the map, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And because you were feeling anxious with the police watching you, is that correct?
Yes.
You took your rifle with you into this tavern, correct?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me that you were walking into a tavern with a gun, surrounded by alcohol, correct?
Yes.
But as you were walking, you heard gunshots, am I correct?
Yes.
And you began shooting towards a person across from you, correct?
Yes.
And you consciously knew in the moment that this individual was a police officer, correct?
Yes.
Isn't it true that the police officer was injured later?
Yes.
And a few seconds later, Aaliyah Chadwick, a member of the Righteous Ones, fell to the ground dead, correct?
Yes.
Another individual who died in the gunfire was a tow truck driver, correct?
Yes.
And you agree that you were indeed an active shooter on the night in question, correct?
Yes, but I wasn't the only shooter.
But you were active though.
Yes.
And today in court, you are being charged with 2 accounts of first-degree murder, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Sean. Permission to retrieve the exhibit?
You may. Be direct.
Okay, so Ms. Evans, can you just, for reiteration, can you tell me what happened that night when you were walking back towards the shooting?
When I walked back, I noticed that there was a police officer already on the ground and that my fellow Righteous One member, Aaliyah Chadwick, was dead. So when I noticed fire, I began to take cover and I began shooting back for defense.
All in a matter of self-defense. So did you shoot first?
No.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Recross?
Yes, Your Honor.
Further cross, brother.
May I proceed?
You may.
So, as you stated in redirect, on the night in question, you were shooting backwards. You were shooting back to the person shooting at you, correct?
Yes.
And you consciously knew this person was a police officer, correct?
Yes.
And you later learned that this police officer was injured, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further? Anything further?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Please step down.
Your Honor, we would like to call Jesse Donaldson to the stand.
Retrieve Jesse Donaldson.
Please solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and no local part of the trial.
I do.
All right, keep your voice up, speak into the microphone, make sure the jurors can hear you. All right.
May I begin?
You may proceed.
Hello, Ms. Donaldson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well. So can you please state your name and occupation to the court?
My name is Jessie Usebe, as I am a Righteous One member.
Oh, so you're a Righteous One member. Can you tell me a little bit about the Righteous Ones?
I joined the Righteous Ones because they were a group looking for bettering their community, and I joined the Righteous Ones.
Interesting. So can you tell me who the leader for the Righteous Ones is?
Our leader is Sean Evans, the defendant, and 34-year-old Iraq war veteran.
Interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about Sean Evans?
Sean Evans is a soldier and a peacekeeper, and Sean Evans wants the crime and violence out of our neighborhood, and he wants us to learn our history so we can better the community.
Interesting. Very nice. So can you tell me a little bit about what happened on the day of July 23rd?
On July 23rd, we were at Sean Evans' house, and she was in one of her moods, but later I saw Chris Reyes ticketing a caddy, and Chris Reyes, he was ticketing a caddy around noon.
Who is Chris Reyes?
Chris Reyes, police officer. He was ticketing a caddy around noon, and he looked a little unsteady on his feet. And later, I went back to Sean Evans' house, and he called Righteous Ones members and community members. And around 7:30, Sean told me to take post across the street on Chestnut Avenue and Lakefront. And one of our sisters, Aaliyah, followed us outside, and he told her to take post across the street. As the tow truck, a tow truck was there by the caddy, and police officer Chris Reyes arrived. And as he arrived, he got out the car, and the tow truck driver and Chris started talking, although I couldn't hear the conversation because gunshots had started.
So can you tell me a little bit about what happened after gunfire started?
After the gunfire started, I saw Aaliyah running towards Sean Evans' house on Chestnut Avenue, but that was the last time I saw her alive, and I was taking post, so I did not see her get shot, but yes.
Interesting. And so just for one more time, can you please tell us what the Righteous Ones believe in?
The Righteous Ones believe that the neighborhood should be stripped of crime and violence, and that we want to protect our community.
Interesting. No further questions, Your Honor.
I have one question. You mentioned, and I asked you why Chris, asked you about Chris Reyes. Now you just sort of said you saw Chris Reyes drinking. I mean, what drew your attention to Chris Reyes? I knew he was a policeman, but what drew your attention to him?
I saw him ticketing an abandoned Cadillac, so I don't know, and he was a little wobbly, so it caught my attention.
Then when you went to the bar, you saying you saw him in the bar, or saw the officer in the bar?
No, I did not see him in the bar.
Did not see the officer. Okay, I just want to make sure that I was clear on that. All right.
Okay.
You may.
Proceed, Your Honor.
Yes.
So you agree you are a member of the Righteous Ones, correct?
Correct.
So let's get to know this group a bit better. Your leader is Sean Evans, correct?
Correct.
And your leader, Sean, purchased many guns and many ammunitions, correct?
That is also correct.
Your Honor, I'd like to present what's previously marked as Exhibit 3. Let the record reflect I'm presenting a clean unmarked copy.
Can you show it to me, please?
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Please hold this. Do you agree these are the images of the rifles registered to Sean Evans, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree that Sean has experience with handling these weapons due to his time in Iraq, yes?
Yes.
He's experienced with killing people with these weapons due to his time in Iraq, yes?
That is correct.
And you agree he is fully capable of injuring or even killing individuals with these weapons due to that time in Iraq, correct?
Yes.
And you also agree that Sean positioned armed guards in front of his house, ready to attack at any moment, yes?
Yes.
And wouldn't you agree the righteous ones were considered by some as hardcore criminals, yes?
To some, we were seen as that, but we were just a neighborhood watch.
So let's talk about the night in question, July 23rd. Your Honor, I'd like to present what's previously marked as Exhibit 1C. Let the record reflect I am presenting opposing counsel with an unmarked copy. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Please hold this. You would agree this is a map of the shootout in the Riverdale area, correct?
Yes.
And on that night of the shootout, you were standing guard at the corner of Chestnut and Lakefront Avenue, yes?
That is correct.
And you saw Officer Chris Reyes on the rectangle on that map, yes?
Yes.
And isn't it also true at that rectangle there was an abandoned Cadillac that Officer Reyes was ticketing?
That is correct.
And a tow truck man later came to that Cadillac to pick up the car as well, correct?
Yes.
And the tow truck man, who we know is Gordon Liu, came out and began speaking to Officer Reyes, standing next to the Cadillac, yes?
Yes.
Furthermore, at the same time, you saw Sean Evans and a Righteous One member, Alia Chadwick, exit Sean's house, correct?
They exited before the tow truck driver had arrived, but that is correct.
Alia was then dispatched by Sean to stand guard by that Cadillac, yes?
That is correct.
Sean then left her, headed in a direction away from the Cadillac, yes?
Yes.
Then suddenly someone began firing a weapon, correct?
Correct.
And immediately the tow truck driver, Gordon Liu, was shot down, yes?
That is correct.
And he was near the Cadillac when this happened, yes?
Yes.
And then Alia Chadwick, who was also near the Cadillac, was then shot down, correct?
Yes.
And these two individuals were killed, yes?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to present what was previously marked as Exhibit 2B. Let the record reflect I'm presenting opposing counsel a criminal unmarked copy.
Objection, Your Honor?
Objection. State your
when was
objection. State your objection.
When was this entered in as an exhibit?
Hasn't been.
May I just proceed with my questioning then?
You want to introduce Exhibit 2?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce
2B?
Exhibit 2B. May I present it to the witness now?
For purposes of the examination, you may. But the record reflect has not been previously entered into evidence.
Okay.
Nor testified to. Objection.
Can I see the thing that you're showing my witness?
I just presented it to you.
Present it to her one more time.
Okay, please do. Thank you.
2B. It's right here.
The second one. Yes. Okay. With Chris Reyes. Okay.
I approach the witness.
You may.
You would agree, looking at this image, that Chris Reyes was shot, correct?
Correct.
And you agree that when Chris Reyes was shot, he was also by the Cadillac, correct?
That is correct.
So you must agree someone was shooting towards the people at the Cadillac, yes?
It could be said that.
And you also agree an individual who was not near the Cadillac was most likely the shooter, correct?
Well, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm not sure how my witness would exactly know that Chris Reyes was shot, especially with the exhibit that is being presented to her now. She's not the medical examiner.
We're going to sustain the objection.
Okay. May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, but not you. But your question on this exhibit, what are you trying to determine?
I'm just trying to establish that Chris Reyes was injured.
Okay, well, the exhibit, we will have her testify to her knowledge, but not to this exhibit. So you can put the exhibit down.
Okay.
Continue to ask your questions.
So you agree Sean was not near the
Pardon me?
Cadillac?
I was thinking she received the...
Yes, set the exhibit aside.
Thank you.
So you agree Sean was not near the Cadillac, yes?
He possibly wasn't.
And you agree you saw the police officer talking to the tow truck man when the shots began, correct?
Correct.
So you can confirm for us that the police officer did not begin the shooting, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. How would she know that cause for speculation?
But she can answer the question. We'll overrule the objection. You can answer.
So you confirm for the court that Chris Reyes was not the one who began and fired the first shot, as you watched him as he was talking to the tow truck operator when the shots began, correct?
That is correct.
I'm sorry, can you speak up a little bit?
That is correct.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Read the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Hello again, Ms. Donaldson. Can you please tell me where you were during the entire incident that was happening on July 23rd?
During the incident, I was on the corner of Chestnut and Lakefront Avenue.
Interesting. Who all did you see get shot or shot down?
I saw the tow truck driver get shot. And that is all because I did not see Aaliyah get shot, but I saw her running.
Speak up.
I saw her running, but I did not see her get shot.
So who did you see get shot?
Yes.
Gordon, the tow truck driver.
Tow truck driver.
Okay. So you say that you only saw the tow truck driver get shot, and when you were following orders said by Sean Evans. What happened? You said that you heard gunfire, but do you know where the gunfire was coming from exactly?
No, I do not.
Interesting. So just one more time, for the court, for the jury, for the judge, can you please state what the Righteous Ones group is?
The Righteous Ones is a neighborhood watch sincerely to protect our community and get the crime and violence out of our neighborhood as it was brought into our neighborhood.
And do you believe that Sean Evans is violent in any sort of way?
I believe that Sean is a soldier and a peacekeeper.
Interesting. No further questions, Your Honor.
Let me redirect based on those questions.
Yes, Your Honor.
I recross rather based on those questions.
May I proceed?
You may.
So let's talk about the Righteous Ones. You would agree that the Righteous Ones, many members hold guns, correct?
That is correct.
Including the leader, Sean Evans, he holds a gun, yes?
Yes.
And you agree these guns are very capable of killing individuals, yes?
As many guns, yes, they are.
Okay. And now let's talk about the night in question. You were standing on the corner of Chestnut and Lakefront, correct?
Correct.
And when you were standing there, you were able to visualize the shootout occurring, correct?
Some of the shootout, yes, I was able to see.
And you saw shots going towards the Cadillac, yes?
Yes, some of the shots.
And Sean Evans walked away from the Cadillac, yes?
I don't know.
Isn't it true that Sean Evans was not near the Cadillac when the shootout began, correct?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down. Thank you very much. Next witness.
Your Honor, we would like to call Jordan Mitchell to the stand.
Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, make sure you keep your voice up so the jury can hear you. You may proceed.
Hello, Dr. Mitchell. Can you please state your name and occupation to the court?
My name is Dr. Jordan Mitchell, and I'm one of the medical examiners for Erie.
Interesting. So can you tell me a little bit about your academic background?
I graduated from Buckeye State University with a bachelor's degree in science and medicine and with a pre-med dual major in biology and chemistry.
Interesting. So can you tell me a little bit more about your academic background?
I've studied autopsy, forensic pathology, surgical pathology, hematopathology, and medical microbiology.
Interesting. Your Honor, I would like to enter my witness as a expert witness. And
Well, does he have any? He's testifying as an expert in what?
Yeah, he's testifying as an expert in autopsy, microbiology, all of the cases previously stated.
Dr. Mitchell, where did you get your medical degree?
I got my medical degree at the same university in 2004.
Has he written any publications?
Yeah. Have you written any publications?
Yes, I've written some in gunshot wounds and about ammunition and
If you qualify as an expert, has he written documents on the area that which you're testifying, pathology, forensics, any of those things?
Yes, he has.
All right. you need to let us know what you've written. You can't qualify him as an expert if he's not, if he doesn't demonstrate he's an expert. Published in his journals?
Yes.
And name some of those journals. What about the American Journal of Forensic Medicine? Any of those journals?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And where do you work?
In the city of Ireland as a medical examiner.
All right. We will qualify him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any objections from the?
Just as a medical examiner, please.
Just as a medical examiner, okay. And limit his testimony to his work as a medical examiner.
Yes, you can. May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
So can you tell me a little bit about your day-to-day job as a medical examiner?
I'm often called to crime scenes when warranted, and I've treated countless gunshot wounds as a physician.
So what were you doing on the day of July 23rd?
I was working in trauma the night of July 23rd when Officer Reyes, Mr. Gordon Liu, and Aaliyah Chadwick were brought in.
Interesting. Your Honor, I would like to enter exhibits 2A, 2B, and 2C into evidence.
All right, we'll take them each at a time as you present them. So the first one you're going to present is what?
The first exhibit I will be presenting is 2A.
All right.
Objections? No objections.
Maybe. Yes, you can present them.
So, do you recognize this?
Yes.
Speak up, folks.
Yes, I recognize this.
And now, I would like to enter exhibit 2B into evidence.
No objections.
All right, you may.
You recognize this one too?
Yes.
What are they?
These are the gunshot wounds of the victims, Gordon Liu, Chris Reyes, and Aaliyah Chadwick.
That's exhibit 2A and 2B. B. All right, you may proceed.
And next I would like to enter exhibit 2C into evidence.
No objections.
And can you tell me what this is right here?
These are the gunshot wounds in Aaliyah Chadwick and gunshot wounds in Aaliyah Chadwick.
So you viewed the bodies of Aaliyah Chadwick, Gordon Liu, and Chris Reyes. Can you first tell me about the condition that Chris Reyes was in?
Chris Reyes was shot in his back, but he survived because his spine and internal organs escaped damage.
And what about Gordon Liu and Aaliyah Chadwick?
Gordon Liu was shot 2 times, one in his upper left torso and one in his abdomen. And
okay, continue please.
Gordon Liu was shot in his upper left torso and his abdomen, and Aaliyah Chadwick was shot once in his side.
Interesting. And the wounds that they sustained, did this cause their death?
Yes.
In examining the bodies, did you find anything interesting or like coincidental?
Objection, leading question.
Well, we'll allow it for the purposes of the. But be careful. Be careful.
I found shotgun wounds in Gordon Liu and Chris Reyes.
And in Aaliyah Chadwick?
And Aaliyah Chadwick, I found would seem it might be a more concentrated gunshot wound from a handgun or a rifle.
So you stated that,
Okay.
So people will probably, who may be viewing this, may wonder why the defense stopped. There's a time limit on direct examination. So we will proceed as if they had completed their direct examination, and the prosecution has a certain amount of time for their cross-examination. So the direct stops, but for the flow of what we're doing, we're going to do it as if the direct ended, and now the cross-examination.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
As a medical examiner, Dr. Mitchell, you agree you're skilled in treating gunshot wounds, correct?
Correct.
And you are skillfully able to identify the type of gunshot wound as well.
Yes.
And on the night of the shooting, July 23rd, you were working in the trauma department at Earlyland Hospital, yes?
That's correct.
And Officer Reyes, Jordan Liu, and Alia Chadwick all were brought to the emergency room that night, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to present what was previously introduced as Exhibit 2C, which is an image of Alia Chadwick's gunshot wounds. Let the record reflect by presenting a clean and unmarked copy. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Please hold this. You would agree this is an image of the gunshot wound sustained by Alia Chadwick, yes?
Yes.
And you would agree that in these gunshot wounds, she sustained an injury to her upper left torso and her abdomen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And because the bullets hit organs such as the spine and other internal organs, she died from this, correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that projectile weapons such as rifles or handguns can leave concentrated wounds?
That is correct.
And upon your analysis of the autopsy of Ms. Chadwick, you found she sustained concentrated wounds, yes?
Yes.
So you agree her injury was caused by something that can cause concentrated wounds, such as a rifle, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to now present what was previously marked as Exhibit 3, which is the image of the rifle registered to Sean Evans. On the record reflects and present a clean and unmarked copy to the closing counsel. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Please hold this. You'd agree this is an image of the rifles registered to Sean Evans, correct?
Yes.
So you agree he owns a rifle, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And a rifle, such as
Now,
Sean's
how
rifle...
would he know that Sean Evans owned the rifle?
Because he is an expert, he's been tendered as such, he's been given the opportunity to review all files within the
He would know whether
case.
Sean owned the rifle or not.
Based on Exhibit 3, he can tell us that he owned a rifle.
You can answer.
Yeah, objection, Your Honor. He wouldn't, I mean, like, he doesn't know Sean personally. He can't know that Sean, right, he's only a medical examiner. He doesn't know that Sean owns these things.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Because Exhibit 3 has already been introduced, and because this is an expert as they tendered him, he is given the opportunity to review all files in the case, being that he is able to testify on Exhibit 3, which is the rifles registered to Sean Evans.
However, that wasn't testimony that was given, but he can answer questions about the wounds, type
Okay.
of wounds that the victim
Okay.
incurred.
But you agree...
Was sustained objection.
Okay. You would agree that these wounds Alia sustained could be caused by a rifle, yes?
Yes.
Okay, no further questions.
Recross.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or you have opportunity to, I'm sorry, you have the opportunity to redirect based on the cross-examination of the prosecution.
Can you please state your occupation once again to the court?
I'm a medical examiner for the city of Erie.
And you sometimes work in forensics. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Objection, this is beyond the scope of cross. I did not mention forensics.
That is true. Objection sustained.
Can you still, again, reiterate the things that you saw, the wounds that you saw on Leah Chadwick and Gordon Liu?
Objection, Your Honor. Leah Chadwick, but not to Gordon Liu. I did not bring that up in cross.
Then
You
just...
talked about the wounds to Chadwick, so.
Then just Leah Chadwick.
Aaliyah Chadwick suffered a wound to her abdomen and upper torso, and they seem to be concentrated, and a concentrated gunshot wound could come from a pistol or an assault rifle.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
No cross. No recross.
We rest our case.
All right, no further witnesses. You may step down, doctor. Thank you for your time and testimony. All right, before we go to cross-examination, are there any, to closing arguments, are there any, let's talk about the exhibits and to the timekeeper. Hey, why don't you gather your exhibits, so we can come up with the bailiff timekeeper, bring the exhibits over to the bailiff and timekeeper, so we can, all right, we do it here. On the exhibits, what is the prosecutor offering for?
We'd like to offer Exhibit 1C, the map of the shootout. Exhibit 2C, the location of the gunshot wounds sustained by Elliot Chadwick. And Exhibit 3, the rifles registered to Sean Evans.
All right. Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and what would you all like to offer?
We would like to offer the same exhibits, and including Exhibit 2A and 2B. Just right there.
All right, so exhibits 1C, 2C, and 3 are joint exhibits, and exhibit 2A and 2B will be exhibits, our defense exhibits in the objection to. All right, so we will issue those into evidence, okay, and we'll give them within the custody of our bailiff. All right.
Thank you.
All right. And we prepare for closing statements. Closing statements, the prosecution will get 2 shots because the burden of proof is on the prosecution, and defense will get 1 shot. So prosecution may proceed.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yeah.
May it please the court, Your Honor, this case is about a woman who stripped people of their livelihood, yet she stands here with no shame to proclaim her innocence. One woman, Sean Evans, fired and started a riot that killed 2 innocent people and injured a dedicated officer, Officer Reyes. Your Honor, do not be shaken by the defense's claim, but rather use the facts and evidence to rightfully convict Sean Evans under the Ohio Revised Code with murder and felonious assault. During the evening of July 23, 2018, a gunfire battle broke out between the militant and undisciplined Righteous Ones and the police department who wanted to protect Riverdale. The Righteous Ones group claims that they strive to end the crime and disparities that plague the Riverdale community. If they did, why did they meet up in 21321 Chestnut Avenue to drink and have parties? Why did they feel threatened by a police force that is simply protecting Riverdale? As stated in Justice Donaldson's cross-examination, Your Honors, the prosecution held the burden of proof today to convince the court Sean Evans is a murderer. We have successfully presented evidence that proves beyond a reasonable doubt that Sean Evans is guilty of murder and felonious assault. Under Section 2903.11 of the Ohio Revised Code, felonious assault is defined as, quote, causing physical harm to another. The Ohio Revised Code further states that felonious assault of a peace officer, such as Chris Reyes, is a first-degree felonious assault. Under these 2 statutes, we built our evidence. In our direct examination of Officer Reyes, we proved that Sean Evans shot Officer Reyes purposely after asking if he was an officer. With full knowledge of him being an officer, he fired the gun. First-degree felonious assault was proved on the prosecution. Furthermore, in our cross-examination of Sean Evans, she clearly stated on the stand that she was aware that Officer Reyes was indeed an officer, and she was aware that Officer Reyes was injured after she fired her gun. First-degree felonious assault was submitted by the defense today. Both parties have shown that Sean Evans willingly and knowingly shot an individual she identified as an officer on the night of July 23rd, proving that she did indeed commit a first-degree felony. Building off of this conviction, we proved under the Ohio Revised Code, Section 2903.02, that Sean Evans is a murderer. Murder is defined as, quote, causing the death to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first and second degree. We have established beyond a reasonable doubt, with both parties agreeing today, that the defendant himself admitted on the stand that he indeed shot the officer and was aware the officer was a police. And then the officer was injured. She admitted to being aware of that. Regardless of whether Sean shot Aaliyah Chadwick and Gordon Liu or not, she willingly admitted in cross-examination to committing felonious assault of the first degree, qualifying her to be rightfully convicted of murder under Section 2903.02 of the Ohio Revised Code, which states murder is a felony of the first degree. Your Honor, this case may appear to be about a police force invading a group's privacy. However, let us focus on the fact that Aaliyah Chadwick and Gordon Liu were murdered. Chris Reyes was assaulted and injured. Let the court not be blinded by the defense's plea that Sean was protecting himself, but rather see the bigger picture, that one woman, through one precise shot, created a riot that ended up in utter chaos. Ms. Evans' assault of Officer Reyes resulted in injuries and premature death of innocent civilians. Please, be a court that was formed to give justice and convict Sean Evans with murder and felonious assault. Your Honor, juries, please give the innocent lives taken on July 23rd peace and justice. Thank you.
Sean Evans, Righteous One leader, Iraq War veteran, neighborhood bookstore owner. These are all the things that Sean Evans is. Today, the prosecution has tried to paint Ms. Evans out as some monster, and that is not what she is. Today, the prosecution had the task of proving that Ms. Evans is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and quite frankly, the case is filled with doubt. Today, they showed us testimonies from an intoxicated officer who was told that Sean shot him. They were presented with a biased FBI agent who was here on behalf of his friend, and a teen girl trying to get out of murder and arson charges. The task of us is to show that Sean isn't guilty of anything but trying to protect her community. Today, we've shown you that it could have been anybody that shot Ms. Evans, yet the police tried to pin it against Ms. Evans because, quite frankly, they had a vendetta against her. Today, Ms. Evans has showed to us that she did not want any of this to happen. She was just trying to uplift and bring her community up while the police were steady tearing it down. The police were supposed to put Erie Land at ease, but they just made the residents eerie. And when Ms. Evans went against that, the police did not like this one bit. Today, we just ask that you do the right thing and keep an innocent woman from behind bars and find her not guilty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the question is not whether Sean was a member of the Righteous Ones or whether he was peaceful, because he evidently was. We are here to argue today whether Sean committed felonious assault and murder, and the answer is yes, he did. Yes, she did. Sorry. In our cross-examination of the defendant herself, she evidently admitted on the stand that she fired at Officer Reyes with full knowledge that he was an officer, and she later learned that the same officer was injured at the hospital. And because Officer Reyes is indeed a peace officer, she should be charged with first-degree felonious assault under Section D of 2903.02 of the Ohio Revised Code. Furthermore, murder is defined as causing the death to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree. Sean Evans committed a felony of the first degree. Therefore, she should be charged with murder under the Ohio Revised Code. Your Honor, let us use the facts. Let us use the evidence presented by the prosecution today. We have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Sean Evans did indeed commit felonious assault of the first degree. And since murder is a first-degree felony, Sean Evans should be charged with murder and felonious assault. Thank you.
Well, first of all, on behalf of the Cleveland Municipal Court, we would like to express our appreciation for the great job that both teams did. I believe they deserve a hand. How about that, audience? As well as not only the prosecution and the defense team, but also the witnesses who really were very well prepared, testified significantly, and to to Officer Reyes, we have to apologize. We kept referring to you as him, even I did. So we reckon you did such a great job, you convinced us that you were he. And I think that was because we were all following we were so closely aligned to the book and remembering who did what in the book. One of the things I like to say is I went to school with quite a few of the defendants. Latham Donald and I were, and Magistrate Clifford, we were all in the same grade in high school. Asu Bey, who was Leslie, I can't remember Leslie's name, who just recently died, as a matter of fact. When he became active with Ahmed Evans, that was just not his personality. He was one of the coolest, cleanest, best dressed guys in the school. And the Roney boys who were involved, Cazell and Michael and the Roney guys, they were also close friends. In fact, Judge Larry Jones, who's on the Court of Appeals, his wife, all of them grew up on the same street on Lynn Drive. Judge Ed Wade, who lived directly across the street from me, was very close to them. And so all of us sort of, not only did we grow up together, we all played football together, street football, all on the same block between 111th and Primrose and Lynn Drive and Tuscarora. So we all were very, very, very close to them. We did not know Ahmed Evans, who was the principal. We did not know him, knew of him, knew who he was, but did not have that same kind of relationship with him. So it's sort of ironic that now Leslie Asu Bey actually got out of jail, and according to most of the material, many people believe he was one of the primary shooters, but he got out of jail and lived in Akron until his death. So I guess we will now retire. Is that how this works? To the scores.
Your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to the 2019 Mock Trial Award Ceremony. Yes, indeed. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of the participants, because I know as a lawyer for the past 26 years what it takes to get prepared for a trial. Even as a mock trial, you still must prepare, so I know and I can appreciate the efforts that you have put into preparing for today. First and foremost, I would like to welcome the CEO, Eric Gordon, from the Cleveland Metropolitan School District.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that was pretty pitiful. After all this great work, that's all you got. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 9 schools, 14 teams, and 245 people in those courtrooms. Give yourselves a round of applause. I know that you already know this, but you actually tried a case that came right out of Cleveland's history, right in our own Glenville neighborhood, the Glenville shootout. where the alleged perpetrator, Fred Evans, actually went on trial for his part in that shootout in 1969. So that's the case. You're telling our history and retelling our history here. And I know that some people actually visited that actually have direct connection to that, and so you brought something very personal back for a lot of people, and I think that's really wonderful. And these cases are created in part with people who have been through this program, too, students that sat in seats just like you, and help us to create these cases along with our partners, the Cleveland Municipal Court and the Cleveland Bar Association. So really excited about that in particular. These are the kinds of things that I want our students doing. These are what we call demonstrations of learning, where you have real tasks with real audiences, real judges who heard your cases. And so we're trying to do more and more of this, and you're modeling exactly why, because all I've heard is how greatly prepared you were, how well you've done, and that's what I know you can do every day. So I'm really proud of you, and you should be proud of yourselves. I think we need to do a few thank yous. First, can we please thank your teachers and educators who helped you prepare for this? Didn't happen without them. We have to thank the people from the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association. We have the single strongest partnership of any bar association in the country committed to education. Give them some real love. For the Cleveland Municipal Courts, all of the staff, the judges, everybody who actually gave you their courtrooms and sat on your cases, let's give some love for them for that tremendous work. And I just want to say again, whether you ultimately choose legal professions directly as your chosen professional career path, or whether you choose other career paths, these kinds of demonstrations of learning, these authentic things are going to serve you well in whatever you do. So congratulations to all of you. Thanks again to all of our partners. And let's get on with this program.
I would be remiss if I failed to acknowledge and allow my colleagues to say a few words to you. We will start with, to my left, the Honorable Judge Sheila Turner McCall, the Honorable Judge Charles Patton, the Honorable Judge Ann Claire Okar, and the Honorable Judge Suzanne Sweeney. Say hello. Come on, real quick. Come on.
Good afternoon to all of you. I greet you. I am a John Adams Rebel graduate. She's a hater. She went to Kennedy. So I love being here. I love for you guys to realize that you too can do what, I don't know, are you CMSD? But, you know, we have a rivalry going. She's Kennedy, but John Adams is the best. We know that. So congratulations to all of you.
Good afternoon and congratulations for this achievement you've gone through today. I want you to think about, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do? What contribution do you want to make to society? I met Martin Luther King one day at Corey Church on 105 here in Cleveland. He had just gotten out of jail in Birmingham, Alabama. And he gave a speech to a packed church. I couldn't get inside the church. I was about 13 years old. But some elders of the church invited some young guys standing on the street to go into the pastor's office and hear the speech. When the speech was over, upstairs, Martin Luther King came downstairs and said hi to us. And he asked us, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he walked over to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and said the movement, the civil rights movement, needs some attorneys. I went home that night and I asked my mother, what's an attorney? I didn't know. But I found out. You have done something I didn't have an experience to do when I attended Glenville or when I attended Kennedy. I have two alma maters here in Cleveland. So I was in your seats as a student in the Cleveland Public Schools and went to Howard University Law School. And I'm here now. But you can do that. Congratulations.
And
Hello, everyone. My name is Judge Ann Claire Okar, and I just want to say that I think you really all did such a great job. The students that were in my courtroom were very well prepared. It's really hard to do a trial. There are attorneys that have butterflies in their stomach even after they've been practicing law, as Judge Carr said, for many years before they do a trial. So what you did today, you should be really proud of yourselves. You did a great job, and congratulations to all of you. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon, Cleveland Municipal School District. Awesome mock trial competitors. I don't know which of you had listened this morning to Judge Michael Nelson, who heard some of the teams this morning. He actually lived through the Glenville riots and had a lot of friends involved. So what you presented today is, as Eric Gordon said, part of Cleveland's history. The other thing I have to give congratulations to every single one of you for is to stand up in front of somebody and make a speech, just to speak clearly and be understood. Many adults can't do that. So the fact that all of you have stood up and presented your case is amazing, and we give you ultimate applause. Congratulations. And thank you.
Of duty. All right, where's my script here? Okay. Flash, where are you, Flash? Yes, Flash. Ask Gail. Oh, Gail, where are you? Come over here, Gail. Okay. I don't have a script, okay? Don't worry, we'll be okay. Come on, Gail. Oh, let me see. That's right, I'm introducing Gail Gaddison, the social studies teacher who worked with several students at Glenville. Let's give it up for Gail.
Good afternoon, everybody. You know what, I will always be a teacher, but I'm no longer in the classroom. I head the social studies department for CMSD. And as a social studies teacher, I taught the civil rights movement, but I tended to teach the civil rights movement by talking about the South. I also would teach the Huff riots, but I paid very little attention to the Glenville shootout and the ensuing Glenville riots. So when you learn history, it's about cause and effect. Okay? And so it's not just about that moment in time, it's about how that moment in time impacted the time after that and how it continues to impact the present. Last year, I had the pleasure of working with students at Glenville High School, and I had never met these students. And I asked them the first day that I met them, I said, what does a healthy community look like? And we took some time to talk about that. And we started to take a look at, number one, what a healthy community looks like. And then number two, we started to talk about their community, which was the Glenville community. And we all decided that maybe Glenville isn't as healthy as it used to be. So then the next question was, well, what happened? And we started to delve into that moment in time that we call the Glenville shootout. Two of those students are here today, and we got the chance to travel to South Carolina to meet with and interview a gentleman who conducted the study of the causes of the Glenville shootout. I didn't know these two women, because they were women now, these young women, prior to meeting and working with them. But I watched them grow because they are now butterflies. Okay, here they are, Shanoa Miller and Bria Cook.
Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon now, but good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say that like they just said, I am so proud of every single student in this room because I went to different courtrooms and all I saw was complete excellence. So can you just give yourselves another round of applause, please? So like she said, learning this story, I learned this story my senior year. I graduated last year, and it did not only change my perception of my community, but it made me realize what I can do for my own community, right? So you sit here and say, oh, yes, I'm the future leader. I can be a politician. I can be a doctor. I can be this influencer. But do you really realize that until you know your purpose, know where you came from, know your value, you know, does that give you that drive, that persistence to keep going and do everything you set your heart out to do? And that's exactly what learning this story did for me and Bree. Right now, I'm a part of the PAC. If you don't know what that is, it's Black Women's Political Action Committee, and it has given me such a drive to pursue this different career that I did not think I was going to be a part of. But you being here today, participating in mock trial, was literally your first step into your community, into improving your community and also your career. So I just want to say thank you on that. And also for the teachers who got me here, for the director of social studies that got me here, for many influencers that got me here. Those are also your teachers that are here today. Okay? And I just want you to show your appreciation for that.
So first of all,
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bree Cook. I am class of 2018 of Glenville High School. I am also, I participated in this trial my senior year of high school. And speaking about the Glenville shootout, it was interesting to learn about because I came to Glenville my freshman year of high school. I'm originally from East Cleveland, so I wasn't from the community. But I went to Glenville and I learned about it. And it was fascinating to see such events occur in a city where you had no idea. And you wonder why we got all of these abandoned buildings and all of these damaged properties in the community, and that's actually where it came from. So that was fascinating to learn about as well. Congratulations, you guys, on finishing your mock trial today. If any of you want to be lawyers, good luck with that. I myself want to be a lawyer after doing this, so I'll be going to law school. But just good luck with your journey, and keep it up, and congratulations.
And now we will have the presentation of participation certificates. Come on, Judge Sweeney, you said you would help me.
Outstanding attorneys.
Okay. You're up, Judge Sweeney.
All right, for the 2019 mock trial competition, for recognized as an outstanding attorney is Lily Kwiatkowski.
Would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
You have the mic.
Hi, I've been doing mock trial for 2 years in high school, and it's a really great program that's definitely helped build my speaking skills. And it's a great way to meet friends and just have fun, and I'm really happy that I got to do this. I do not want to go into law, I do want to go into medicine, but it's definitely helped with my speaking skills and my communication skills. So keep doing it if you're not a senior yet, and hopefully you'll find your passion that way.
You're still up? Oh, no, I have to do this one. I'm
this one.
sorry.
You know her.
I don't know her at all. All I can say, the next person that's coming up, boy, oh boy, she made me go back to my days as a city and a county prosecutor. All I could do when I saw this young lady in action, I kind of broke code because she actually put a smile on my face. She almost made me unzip my robe and say, that's it. I'm going back to the county prosecutor's office. I'm leaving this judgeship. And then I remembered, no, I'm going to stay here. It is my pleasure, it is my honor to present Miracle Harris as the outstanding attorney. My mini me.
I gotta say a few words. So I just want to say thank you to Ms. Parker and Brandon and Karen, who are also back there. They helped us get here. I want to say thank you to my team. I feel like this is like an award speech, sir. Like I'm at the Emmys or something. I just want to say thank you to my team, my co-counsel. You know, I'm proud of you guys. I hope you continue doing it when I'm gone. Yeah. I want to be a lawyer, so this is definitely important to me. And I love her. Like, we just met, and I love her already. So, yeah, thanks.
Flash. Flash. Photo op. Uh-oh, 3:15. Uh-oh, we got to go faster. Your turn. No speeches.
All right. Recognized as an outstanding attorney, LaVon Shepard. Come on up.
Call the next one. I'll walk up. Where's LaVon? We're going fast.
LaVon Shepard. LaVon Shepard. All right, next. Recognized as an outstanding attorney, Tabaris Scott. Come on up. Yay! All right, also recognized as an outstanding attorney is Roberto Rivera. Recognized as an outstanding attorney, Dia Young. Come on up, Dia. Another outstanding attorney we want to recognize, Miranda Lopez. Recognized as an outstanding attorney, Ja'Cory Butts. Yay! Recognized as an outstanding attorney is Nashe Whitson. Another outstanding attorney we want to recognize, Maya Heiskell. Come on up, Maya. Sorry.
Thank you, Maya.
Congratulations. Recognized as an outstanding attorney is Kenneth Schrill. Come on up, Kenneth. Yay.
Come on down, Kenneth. You're on the Price is Right. All right. Congrats.
We also want to recognize as an outstanding attorney, Julia Taylor. Yay, Julia! Is he already read? That's a reprint. No, I already read him. And the last outstanding attorney, Janira Santiago. Oh. You know what? There's two of them. Also, as an outstanding attorney, apparently two people have the same name, Roberto Rivera. Yeah. He won recognized as an outstanding witness in the role of Sean Evans is Haley Gilbert. Yay! Here we go. In the role as an outstanding witness, Jashawn Simpkins. Jashawn Simpkins. Recognized as an outstanding witness, Kira Shaw. Probably had to leave. Oh, here she is. Come on up.
Hey, girl. Congratulations.
Recognized as an outstanding witness, Hema Castro. Woo! Recognized as an outstanding witness is Sabrina Brooks. Congratulations. Recognized as an outstanding witness, Nia Helms. Recognized as an outstanding witness, Chartiz Ford. Yay, Chartiz, come on up. Oh. Recognized as an outstanding witness, another one for Haley Gilbert. Recognized as an outstanding witness, Brianna Brown. Recognized as an outstanding witness is Destiny Robertson. Yay, Destiny! Recognized as an outstanding witness is Taylor Otex. Come on up, Taylor. Taylor. Recognized as an outstanding witness is Rayvon Owens. Recognized as an outstanding witness is Sydney Cummings. And finally, recognized as an outstanding witness is Taimolfi Kamar Malak.
Do that one first, and then this person right here is getting this. Their name's not on it, but they're getting it. You're doing a good job.
And the Writers Award, which is an honorable mention from Facing History New Tech, is Nate Titzinger. Come on up, Nate.
Come on, Nate.
Both of them? This one. And the first place winner for Outstanding Writer, who will get a job at Cleveland Municipal Court, from John Hay Science and Medicine, Courtney White. Welcome to Cleveland Municipal Court. That's a summer internship.
Now I think you should announce the other internships. So
In
we
this
already
order?
announced this one,
Okay.
but you can say these three. These three were the outstanding overall, and and they give summary, and then we'll announce the winners.
Okay. Do you want to go first? The other internships are going to, for Outstanding Prosecuting Attorney for Martin Luther King, Nashe Whitson. New Tech West. Whoops, somebody mistyped this. Congratulations. Welcome to an internship at the Cleveland Municipal Court for your outstanding performance as a prosecuting attorney.
Thank you.
We're crossing out that little part. Next, for the performance as an outstanding defense attorney, an internship goes to Tabara Scott, Collinwood. And finally, for outstanding witness performance, an internship goes to Sabrina Brooks. And we already know Courtney White has an internship too, but come on up, Sabrina. Congratulations.
You get paid. I'll see you this summer. When you can take me to lunch. That's good. You can take me to a nice expensive restaurant.
So third place? In third place, the trophy goes to team number 1 at New Tech West.
I was so confused. I was like, what's happening?
We're number 3.
Guys, make sure you can get in the picture.
Come here, get in here. We're number 3. Get in there.
You should be in the front. You should be in the front.
All right.
And the second place trophy goes to Railroaders, Collinwood. Come on up! All right. Okay, listen up for this first place trophy. I want everyone else from this school neatly lined up behind us so our wonderful photographer and your teachers can take pictures. The award goes to John Hay, Early College.
Thanks for watching TV 20. We are Cleveland.